This is Alan from Economan at YouTube with the third instalment to the Hermóðr project. During this work in progress I've fleshed out most of the armature and I've got a basic frame to work with. So at the moment, or the coming weeks, I'm going to be spending a lot of time thinking about the armour. During my research on the Vikings and Celts, their technology was quite superior at the time that they were in operation, and contrary to popular belief of the whole horned helmets and axes, they preferred armour of chainmail and swords. They were very skilled with metalwork and concentrated on decorative items such as jewellery and precious metals. They liked to show off their wealth via the presentation of their outfit and body. I'm going to try to carry this across as well as I can. I have purchased some more goodies, and the first one, which is very cool and mind you very cheap, is this what I typed in eBay, like directly steampunk Celtic, and believe it or not, such a thing exists, and they laser etched this cogwheel with these very interesting lines, and it's absolutely massive. It's about 20 centimeters across or something. What I'm thinking, let me pull back, it's going to make an amazing base for the figure. Just a lot more detailing and playing around, some painting. This is definitely very, very cool. I'll probably put a link for this if I remember to do so. Also went to my local hobby shop and got some copper and exhaust manifold Outclad. I'm a big fan of Outclad, and this will make a very nice brassy effect, a darker one for more of a cast. And I've also got a lot of polished aluminium as well, so it will be very shiny. A different source of cogs and bits. Like I said, I've been constantly ordering this in. I want to get some more larger ones. Another item off eBay is just like 5 keys from China. It costs like $2 including shipping. They look very cool. I'm sure I could like put one in the back as like a wind-up doll style type thing with a magnet or whatnot. The other ones can, you know, chop off the heads and use them for interesting things. It's just something nice to buy, and it worked. And from the same people that did the base, they made this very, very tiny wood dowel piece, and it's got this really interesting pattern, also laser etched like this one in. I'm thinking this can be like a chest symbol that can be embedded in the armour of the figure and painted up. It looks very nice. I'll note, when I did buy this wheel, as soon as I took it out of the box, you just had the fresh smell of burnt wood, so it's almost like it was custom made. They just brought up the design off the computer, lasered it out and sent it my way. But yeah, some good goodies. We also remember the Palace Athene that I was going to dismantle it from last video. And here's the said results. It's in a small no-grade box, so things are broken down into very, very fine pieces that can be potential detail. Most of the parts won't be used as their original intended use. So what used to be a single shoulder piece is now 5 pieces of just absolute raw shapes. So this is just blank shapes or curved surfaces which can be used as scratch build fodder. Very helpful to chop up unwanted kits for those little extra bits that could be helpful but not so good for kit bashing. But definitely scratch building, perfect. Demonstrating how to use the magnets could be a good idea in this work in progress, as I've made mistakes and I may as well pass on the knowledge to you guys. Got the 2 very fat ones here. Get some light on the matter. So what I'm going to do is put an X And obviously the 2 points, the magnet joins, is where an X is not joined. And the surface on the X's are going to be glued to the surfaces of either side of this arm. Now, magnets are polarized, so they'll only stick at one side of the magnets, and on the other side they will repel each other. You don't want to be pulling this apart with tools or stuff because you've used too much glue. So, a little bit of super glue. We separate the magnets. Half of the X is going to face the figure. And put a little more glue around. Later on you should get a response that sort of pulls apart like this, and it goes together and will never fall off until you actually apply force to pull it apart. Another technique I want to quickly show off as a bastard tutorial is the use of the putty around the wire. I choose milliput because it's a heavy duty putty that's in the instructions demonstrates uses for such as plumbing, industrial work, setting underwater, whatnot. After drying, which is a period of 12 hours, you can tap it, grind it, hammer it, cut it, whatever. Very strong, very forgiving material. In tube state like so, they stored at room temperature without pinching it or distorting the sausage shape. They should stay reasonably soft for a very long period of time. I'm talking about many years, since some people don't use this stuff often. I go for a few packs a year. You cut yourself a piece, equal part of the 2 halves. And then we mix it with our fingers, which is soft. If you got, arthritis or something, take your time. If you warm it up with the temperature of your hands, it gets a little softer and easier to work with. It's also naturally sticky, so once it's of a uniformed colour, you just slap it onto whatever surface. It sticks to most things like plastic, metal and whatnot. And once it fully hardens and matures over the 12-24 hours, you can glue things on it, paint it, prime it, whatever the hell you want to do. Normally I either sand, grind or cut it back a bit because I added a little too much material. This means it's mixed well enough. And all you have to do is just push it on the surface you desire it to be on, and it just sticks. Surfaces you probably can't push it on is anything that's dirty, greasy, dusty, because it's sticking to the dust or the grease, not the actual surface. But it's sort of a common sense issue more than a technical observation. And once on like this, you can like indent it or detail it. Put some water on your fingers, rub it on, and you can get it very smooth and refined looking. That's about it. This is a slideshow of the bodybuilding process. You can see with the armature, the putty's just being built on fairly rough to get a basic female form. The form isn't exactly perfect in an anatomy sense, but parts of my mistakes can be hidden with armour and whatnot. In future, I'd like to tackle actually sculpting a figure. The shield attaching mechanism to the arm was quite easy. Just a little bit of styrene, putty and magnets. Just a quick look over before we finish up. The roughing out's quite nice. We've got the shield, which is a fair amount of work based off just the centerpiece of the Pallas Athene. We'll pivot around and see the more profile of the body. She is a bit scrawny, but the armour will definitely flesh that out. I'm spending a lot of time in thinking of how to get that together. The only difference between this and a traditional figurative sculpt is magnetism and pulling apart for extra works. The next stage and week of video will be refining. Once everything's fully cured, after a few shifts a day shift at work, I'm going to do some heavy sanding with some fairly rough grit sandpaper and a few coats of polyester putty. I'll show that process. Once I get a nice shape that I'm happy with, the building can commence and things will speed up a lot faster because I'll have different modules to work on. As one module is drying, another one can be worked upon. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time. To sculpt is magnetized. It's strong, so it's kind of hard to do with one arm. Fuck me.